Hello from London. I'm Jess. I've lived in London for over 11 years and I've been running Love in London for over 9. And while London is generally a safe and friendly city, there are some people here that are looking to take advantage of people like you.
Unsuspecting tourists.
So in this video, I'm going to tell you how you can spot tourist traps here in London so you can save your hard-earned cash and also make sure you're spending your time having authentic cultural experiences in this city. So let's go. By the way, first lesson right behind me, avoid any places like this, especially if they have a list of vapes that you can buy. It's just no. First off, what are we counting as a tourist trap? Well, PhotoAid did a study and they say that tourist traps generally have one or more of the following elements. Those are the guidelines that we're following today, and we're not knocking the attractions and places that are just popular with tourists. We are, however, coming for the ones that are designed to take advantage of them. Have you ever seen something splashed across social media as like, you have to go and try this, or look how cool this thing is? And so you end up going, having to wait in line with all the other people who saw it all over social media, and then you end up paying a lot of money for something that either doesn't taste very good or is kind of a mediocre experience. And that's what these places are made for, just to get your money so you can take your picture, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's actually that good. So how do you avoid places like this? Well, if something is getting a lot of hype on social media just because of the appearance of a piece of food, or maybe a cute picture that you can get once you're there, generally be wary of places like that. And instead get some recommendations of things to do from people who are locals and don't necessarily care about if this is gonna look amazing on Instagram. I mean, that's exactly what we do. We don't care how it's gonna look. If it tastes good and it's an amazing experience, that's what we care about and that's what we recommend to you guys. By the way, this is one of those places, L&N Cafe, all over social media because everything is pink and sparkly and over the top. It's also freaking expensive and not that good, just so you know. What does the London Eye, Winter Wonderland, Madame Tussauds, and Leicester Square all have in common besides insanely large price tags that are affiliated with them? That is the throngs of crowds that you have to elbow your way through to have somewhat of an experience at these places. Tourist traps are made to get as much people in as they can and to take all of our money and not really care that much about what your experience is once you're inside. So if you get to something in London and you see a sea of people with backpacks on and cameras and people that just look like they've traveled from afar and not from somewhere in London, you might want to escort yourself out and go find something better to do. Okay, let's be real. You cannot travel abroad these days and not have internet connectivity on your phone. I mean, I need to be able to text my friends, to use Google Maps, and just to stay safe while I'm traveling on my own. But data roaming can be so expensive, and I remember back in the day, I'd have to buy little local SIM cards, and I'd have to switch out the SIM cards from my phone, and sometimes I would lose it. It was just really, really annoying. Luckily, you can avoid all of it now by getting an eSIM with SIM Local. It's really easy. Just choose your destination and how much data that you need, and in a few easy steps, you can activate it on your phone and you're ready to go in whatever country you're traveling in. You'll stay connected at local rates, which will save you a lot of money. SIM Local is highly rated with almost 5 stars across TripAdvisor and Google, and they have a 60-day return policy, so you have nothing to worry about. You can get 10% off your SIM Local order with the discount code we have down in the description box. Plus, it helps support everything we do here on Love in London. So go grab that, and let's get back to the video. Those cheesy rickshaws, the guys playing the ball and cup game, guys selling random nuts on the side of a bridge. All these kinds of things are near all the major touristy areas in London. And for some reason, they're always trying to get your attention, right? They always want you to come over. They want to show you something. Let's just say these people never have your best interest at heart. All they want from you is some money. So if you see someone trying to get your attention, trying to bring you over, or you're just in a really touristy area and you see like an ice cream truck or something, do yourself a favor and keep walking. If you do find yourself in one of these very touristy areas and you need a drink or a snack, never really that far from a shop or a cafe that's gonna charge a bit cheaper than some of the vendors that are right next to the attractions. And if you want good souvenirs, you ain't gonna get it from the guy on the side of the road selling random bobbleheads. Instead, we have a great video about amazing souvenirs that you can get while you're in London. So go watch that next. It'll give you some fantastic ideas of like artisan, local, cool things that you can get and bring home with you. Okay, let's talk about food. Now, London has some of the best cuisine of the entire world, and anyone who says differently, it's probably because they ate at places like this behind me. These places are designed to take your tourist money and deliver a very mediocre experience in exchange. A lot of the places around here, which is right now we're between Piccadilly Circus and Leicester Square, you can expect that at like almost any of the restaurants around here. So here's how you can spot if a restaurant is a tourist trap. There are a few different ways. First off, if it says authentic on the sign or on the menu, it's probably not. It's kind of like one of those things where if you have to say it, it's probably not true. So definitely avoid that. Also, if they've got people outside the restaurant trying to convince you to come in, that's usually a big no. So just keep walking and ignore. Also, restaurants here in London tend to be pretty localized in terms of what type of cuisine that they serve. For example, you might go to an Italian restaurant and it's only food from a certain region in Italy. So if you see a restaurant that has food from Italy and Mexico and there's fish and chips and there's some Thai food, that's gonna be crap, so avoid that. Here you have it, folks, the best culinary experience in the UK at a restaurant called Happy. Really? Cuban sandwich, Parmigiano prawns, and in case you're not sure what they look like, stunning food photography alongside it. Lasagna Ultima. That does not look Ultima, I'll tell you that. Also, as you can probably imagine, if you're in any of the majorly touristy areas immediately in there, like for example, Leicester Square, which is just over there, you can basically expect that all of the places to eat there are not gonna be very good. Instead, go around the corner and go to a place like Chinatown and you'll have much better food. And if you want to know the restaurants that we highly recommend that you go to when you come to London, we have lots of options in both our London itineraries and our casual tourist guides, and those can be found in the Love in London shop. So we will leave a link to them down in the description box. We want to make sure you eat well, so that's what those are for. Sorry, I am coming for these immersive museums like the Clink Museum and the London Dungeon and Shrek's Great Adventure, which, I don't know, doesn't scream historical London and culture to me. As a rule of thumb, avoid anything with a spooky backdrop and with 19-year-olds dressed up as Sweeney Todd or Fiona, Shrek's girlfriend, and anything that's really more of a fairground ride but calling itself a museum. It's not a museum. If you want to learn about history, there are so many historical places to go in London that are quite immersive in themselves. You can go see the ceremony of the keys at the Tower of London or take a tour of Parliament. There's, like endless amounts of things that you can do here to immerse yourself without feeling like you're in some creepy, weird show. And if you do want performance in theater, we have the amazing West End here in London where you can see world-class theater. We have a whole video about how you can get yourself to the theater here in London, how to get tickets, what shows are our favorites. So make sure you watch that video after this one. But ultimately, all of this weird, immersive museum theater stuff, we tend to avoid and Londoners definitely stay away from. Well, now you know how you can avoid the tourist traps here in London so you can keep your hard-earned money and not waste any of your time. By the way, if you want to make the rest of your London trip absolutely amazing, we have hundreds of videos on this channel that you can watch that will help you do that. So to watch one or more of them, click one of the boxes that is popping up right around me.